I've been doing this channel for now for 5 years, and every single time I would do a video regarding any of my televisions, the question always comes in the form of, how do I avoid crushing my black digital levels? Remember, it is really important that you do not crush your black digital levels on your television. I don't care if it's an OLED, I don't care if it's a QLED, I don't care what type of TV it is. The standard is you need to avoid two things: crushing your deep dark levels and also overblowing your white bright levels, because you need to see the detail in the dark, you need to see the detail in the shadows, and you also need to see the detail on the white bright areas. Okay, this is what professional calibrators are looking for when they're adjusting the white balance levels, when they're adjusting the RGB, when they're adjusting all of these elements, when they're looking to adjust those black levels and gamma levels. This is what they're looking for. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to avoid crushing your deep dark levels without using a calibrating equipment or without hiring somebody to use calibrating equipment. I purposely chose this scene in the movie The Martian, Sir Ridley Scott movie. I believe it was released in 2015, right? So anyway, let me show you what my tip is, or better yet, what my trick is for avoiding to be just simply avoiding crushing your deep dark levels. Remember, the last thing you want to do is crush your deep dark levels on the movie. So I'm going to show you my tip. All right, first of all, ST2084. This is your HDR gamma. Now, under any sort of circumstances, should you ever move your gamma to -3, your HDR gamma should be always left at the 0. So leave that ST2084 gamma at the 0 balanced levels. That's the tip number 1. Remember, always leave it at the balanced level. That's the tip number 1. Tip number 2, it's your brightness. Remember, your brightness levels should always be at a balanced level, which is 0 over here. So you want to make sure that you always keep it at the balanced level. Because if you don't, if you go down, this is what happens. Now we're crushing our deep dark levels. And if you go higher, then you are overbrighting the scene and it looks kind of ridiculous. So you don't want to do that either. So this is what you have to do. You have to keep it at the balance level. So remember, the gamma and the brightness needs to be at the balanced default levels. This is how you avoid crushing the deep dark levels. Tip number 3, contrast enhancer. It's really going to enhance the difference between your black digital levels and your white bright levels, meaning it will have a much better ratio between your black digital levels and your white bright digital levels. So this is why you want to use a contrast enhancer. It's going to give you that much better dynamic contrast. And that's what you want on an HDR. You want to have that dynamic contrast so that everything looks balanced. Your white bright levels are brighter at a certain peak, and then you got your black digital levels at a certain level where they're not being crushed. Okay? So remember, the key thing is to keep your brightness at middle balanced and your gamma at balanced. Okay? That's the most important part. Don't mess around with your black digital levels on your Sony or on your other televisions. Leave it at the balanced level. Remember, leave the gamma at default balanced level and leave the brightness at default balanced level. Thank you.